Hello and welcome to the channel. So a couple of months ago I was down at the shop that I work for and I spotted this amp Maker N5X in there. This belongs to Lee, so I pilfed it to have a look at, and I've not got round to actually having a look at it yet, but I thought I've got my bench clear, I've retidied my bench, I'm waiting for some parts for the boogie. So I thought I'll just put this on, do a quick video. Anyone who doesn't know about Amp Maker amps, you can find them online, and the guy doesn't actually make them anymore. The website's still there, it just says closed for an indefinite period. We've done one of these Amp Maker amplifiers on the channel before, which was the single-ended one. I can't remember the model number, it's like a Fender Champ, very similar. And these amps are real good value for the money, these kits. Someone's obviously built this kit up. I've not built this kit up. In fact, John has built this kit up, who does the hi-fi for Lee, who's got the shop. I don't work on hi-fi because I'm a plank. So let's have a look inside. So we've got a couple of boards here. This is a very simple single-ended amp. So this amp's got variable voltage regulation, so it regulates the B plus voltage on this using this pot here, and it's not actually a master volume, it literally does reduce the B plus voltage, which does reduce the volume of the amp. We've got the schematic for this as well, so we're going to have a look at that. So let's just have a look at what controls we've got. Let's spin it round again because it's upside down. So we've actually got a master volume on it: bass, middle, treble, gain, and we've got a bypass switch for the tone stack by the look of it, and then we've got a boost switch here, which is just swapping or adding a bypass capacitor on the first stage, I think, on there as a guess, something along those lines. So this is looking rather tasty, and I do like small amps, single-ended amps. Toroidal transformer, we just looked there, let me just bring it closer. Toroidal transformer, got the output transformer there. Let's find some glasses, see what it says on the top of that, and I'll just spin it round so you can see what's on the top of that as well. Very light. This makes a change. Let's put the macro lens on and then you can read it. It won't go out of focus when we get close. Go in there and you can see, we'll just block the light off it. So it's a 5k primary. It's 5 watts. Car Hill Transformers Limited. And it's got a 4, 8 and 16 ohms tap. Let's have a look what sockets we've got on the back then. And there we go, look. Oops, hang on. There we go. 4, 8 and 16 there. So that's good. So very versatile amp. We've also got optional valve sockets, a bit like the THD Octal or Novell. We've got a single 12AX7, but again, you can put in what you want. 1280, 712AU, you can virtually have this amp just however you like it. By the look of things, it's looking rather delightful. Here's the schematic for it. We can see, don't think we're going to be able to hold that up on there, are we? Let's remove the amp for a minute then. Come down. Yes, Shaft, thank you, we're busy. That's my dog. Someone's walking down his street again, and he doesn't allow that. So we've got a single 12AX7 here. There, 2 stages of that, one 12AX7. We've got 15k grid stopper coming in on the first stage, 100k plate resistor, 22 nanofarad bypass cap, 470k attenuator going into the volume, another 15k grid stopper. Then if we come down here, we've got a 1 meg grid lead, 1.5k cathode resistor, 1 microfarad bypass cap, and we've got this 47k thing going on here, and then we've got a 47 microfarad cap here. So this arrangement here is the switching for that boost switch that we've got there. And then if we go on to the second stage, we were going in through there, 100k plate resistor. We've got a similar arrangement here. It's funny because I thought we'd only got one boost switch, so maybe that boost switch works. Let's have a look at the front of the amp. Have we only got one boost? We only got one boost switch, so maybe that does both stages then. So double boost. So here we've got the tone stack. We're going into the tone stack, and you can see we've got 500 picofarad for the treble, 100k slope resistor, a couple of 22s for the bass and the mid there, and then we've got the switch here, and this is to bypass this EQ, this tone stack. So a great idea that, and they're just doing that by lifting the ground off there. We'll come out the volume 22, oh that's the treble, sorry. So yes, coming out of there, then we're going in to the volume again, that'll be the master volume, 22 nanofarad cap, 1 meg grid leak, 5.6k grid stopper going into the output tube there, and then we get to the cathode bypass caps. So we've got 150R on the cathode of the Novell socket, that will be, and 47 microfarad bypass cap. We've got the same bypass cap on the octal base, but we've got a 470 ohm cathode resistor on there. So that's interesting. So we've got A and B. So A is the HT feed coming down here. I've got a 2.2k resistor there, so that's going to the screens. Yeah, so that's a dropper for the screens. It might even be a screen resistor. Let's have a look. B. So the power A, 1k resistor. Yeah, so that looks like that's a screen resistor there. The dropper is there, 1k, and then we've got nodes C there going on, and that'll be feeding the preamp. There's C up there, look. So let's go on to this part of the power supply then. So we've got the diodes coming out the transformer there, and then we've got a couple of caps smoothing here, and then we've got this circuit here with this 2SK 2968 FET. So very interesting design this. So that's just a crash look at the schematic really there. Now when we did that amp maker champ, I think is it WR55 rings a bell, I actually built that, and I quite enjoyed building that. The video for that is on the channel. I'll leave a link in the description. So I'm going to find some tubes now to go in this. So we'll drop an EL84 in it, and then we'll do some voltage readings and see just see what's going on with this amp. Right, we've got the meter up there. So let's go to the plate. 239. The screen 239. Got a real chunky 1k resistor in there. That's about 5 watts. So we'll go on to this variable voltage circuit, 255 on there. 255. So let's just measure the plate again. and we've got 238 on there now, so nearly 239. So if I turn down this variable voltage power pot, whatever you want to call it, I'll make my own name up for it. So that goes down to 27 volts, 20 volts, 21 volts just about. Let's see if it reduces it on the plate of the 12AX7. So if I hone in there, we've got 238, and if I bring that down, actually that's not on the plate, that's just that's before the plate resistor. There we go, 149. So that's really good, because some of these voltage reduction things, they reduce the voltage on the preamp tube, but on this it's only reducing it on the power tube, and that's great. In fact, it increases when you turn it down because there's less current being drawn. So off the wall it's drawing 40 milliamps when it's turned down, and 110 when it's turned full up. So one of the reasons why I've just done a quick voltage test is so I know what tubes I can put in. So I can put some of the Russian tubes we've got in this, so we can have a bit of a play. So that's good. Let's just check the bias quickly. So we need a volts drop across the resistor. Let's try that. 6.6. 150 ohm resistor. So let's do the maths on that. So we've got 6.6 divided by 150, that's 44 milliamps. We'll take 5% for the screens, 41.8 milliamps, and we'll times it. So we had 238, 6.5, 231.5 will do. And that gives us 9.67 watts of dissipation, so that's okay. Right, that's enough testing. Let's get it plugged in to the 4x12 and give it a blast. Got quite an array of tubes here. So we've got a 5881 Jan, 6L6 Softec, 6P15P. This one is 6P18P. That is, what is that? 6P43P. JJEL84. Russian reflector 6V6. And this is a 6F6G Coke bottle, really old tube, about 9 watts dissipation if I remember. In fact, it might even be less than that, I can't remember. We'll have to check that. So they're the tubes we're going to put in it. We're going to have some fun. We've got it up and running. We've got the EL84 in there, 6BQ5. So we're going to try the cleans first on here. I've got the level set. We've got full master volume. We've got 10 o'clock for the gain, the treble, there you can see, and so on. 10 o'clock, 3/4 of the mid-in, 3/4 of the bass. That 12, that EL84 sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Not quite sure. It's got that metallic ring like it's loose inside, so I'm going to take that out. Notice the glove, so we can do this quickly and not have to keep waiting for the tubes to cool down. 6M43P, so he's a Russian tube, 12 watts dissipation. But this tube, we put one of these in the Marshall Class 5 that we modded. and I'll explain why that is in a while, but we'll switch on. Wait for it to warm up. With that tubing. So I'm not used to this guitar, I keep underbending the second string. Sounds much better with that tubing. It's a very tight sound. Let's go full mid on there. A bit more volume. So this 6P43P has a bit of a lower mu than an EL84 and some of the other tubes, and so you don't get as much gain out of it, or much volume should I say, which means you can crank these tubes a lot more. With my glasses on. Mistake 32D. Rusty. Starting to get quite okay. So let's back the master off a bit and let's crank the with no that's not with a bypass cap, is it? Or that's no bypass cap, or is that? Let's just see. So the bottom setting, so the middle position on that switch there is no bypass cap. So let's flick it down. That must be the 47. That must be the 1. bass now. Ooh, that's the master volume. Full. A bit glassy on the 1 microfarad. Let's try the 47. So that's quite sharp on that. So we'll bring the master down to control that. So let's try full bass, bit more top. Flick out the bypass, for the tone stack. Wow, and that's loads louder. So now let's bring this power down. To about halfway. A lot of difference. So let's come down to about. Let's come down. Let's go right. So that's I only got about 20 volts on the plates now. On the plate of that output tube. Let's wind the master volume up. Rusty at the old neo-classical heavy metal there. Yes, did all that a long time ago when I had her. Don't have any no more. Where are we then? So let's flick the EQ back in. Get some bass out. Half mid and bring the treble back. I can't have more than about 30 volts of plate voltage on that output. I should have put the hot plate on it. Keep overshooting on this guitar. I've not played it for a long time. So that sounds pretty tasty on that, doesn't it? So let's swap that tube now. So put this glove on. There. Well, he doesn't want to come out, does he? Trying to balance the guitar. What else do we have? 6P, 18P. Let's try that in there. Well, that is the idea of this amp after all, is to try different tubes in it, so we might as well while we've got it here. It'll take a while to warm up because there's only about 30 volts going into that plate. Well, that 6P 18P, which is like an EL86 Russian equivalent, is a lot brighter. And it's got a lot more gain, but then I did say that 6P 43P wouldn't have as much gain. So I've just took the tone stack out. I have to say, with this turned down, I'm actually preferring that tone stack out. That's awesome. That is just awesome for a recording studio. Let's try the 47. 47 microfarad bypass. tone stack in. As to say, I'm preferring that tone stack out with the amp cranked, and I think I prefer it in with the amp not cranked. What we're going to do now is let's back this gain off, so we've not got so much gain going. You can't clean the amp up when you've got this power thing down at all. Let's flip the tone stack in. Well, that's cleaned it up no end. Still not totally. Let's bring this up a little bit now. So yeah, so we can't get the amp clean with this down very well. Let's just take that. Let's take the bypass cap out altogether and bring this up now. Let's just take that. Let's flick out the tone stack. You do have a job getting it. Nice woody tone though there. So just regulate a little bit of that with a master volume. That sounds rather tasty set up like that. Let's try another tube. Right, the 6B15Ps are done, the filaments are out on it, so let's go onto the octal tube and let's go in with the 6V6. See that glowing? I think we're on a result. And listen how mellow that's gone now. And also not as much gain as that 6P18P. That's a very bright tube, that 6P18P. That's incredible, the difference in that. Much warmer. So if you're into playing jazz or blues, you want to be on the octal tube then. Right, let's take the power up. Let's take the master volume. I must admit, I prefer that octal tubing there for the clean tones. Let's flick the bypass cap in. Let's go for the 1 microfarad. Oh. Well, that's brought it to life. Let's turn the power down again. Bit of a blues breaker. One thing being rusty, but there's another thing when you haven't played a guitar for ages, and the string tension on this is quite a bit more than the Les Paul. And I use 11s, so quite taut strings. That doesn't sound bad. Let's go for the monster gain then. See, now it's not as bright and as glassy, this 6v6. We'll put the tone stack in. And again, I prefer the tone stack out. Just a natural sound. So the 6v6 doesn't have quite as much oaky as that 6818P, but it's a much warmer tube. So yeah, let's try another tube. This could be a long video. I'm enjoying myself here. I bet you all lot are getting bored now, aren't you? So we'll switch off again. So I think so far for the clean channel, so far for the cleans, my favourite tube is this 6v6, this Russian 6v6, I think. And in fact, I think that's my favourite tube overall. Then the 6P18P is the second. Let's try this Coke bottle 6F6G. Let's pop him in there. He's really old. So let's just hope he works. I have used him before in something and I can't remember what. I can't even remember where he came from. Just checking the camera battery there, 19%. Oh yes. Oh yes, He's very nice, and one of the reasons that could be is because this tube is cathode. This amp's obviously cathode biased. This tube is dissipating at 100%. He's bright and tight. Sounds very tasty. Right, let's back down the gain, bring the amp, bring the power full up, and you can see not as loud with this tube in. That in the THD amp. Flick the tone stack in. You can see that's gone really quiet now. So yes, that sounds, that tube is very nice indeed, and I think that's the best sounding one of all of them so far. That's a Jan 5881, and you can see that 5881, he's got some gusto. You can see that 5881, he's got some gusto in it. So I'm just looking at the percentage on the camera. I weren't gawking at it. Bright, much brighter. This amp is awesome. G7. You can see that's driving with that. Oops. So let's do the crank test then. We'll bring this down, bring that full up, remove the tone stack. Oh, he really is, he's got some real gumption in him, that too. Much brighter, a little more glassier than the 6F6. And a lot more overdrive. My word. And a lot more bottom end on the 5881 as well. And I had to draw the gain back to 6 there. That it's monstrous with that in, absolutely monstrous. I've only got 2 more tubes to try, then I can go and have a cup of tea. I'll remove that because that might be a little warm. Let's go for the 6V6 then, 6L6 sorry. So we'll stick him in, give him some gumption. I'll take the glove off because I want to play the guitar with that on, will I? On that one. That one's got the most gumption of all of them. It's actually quite cold, right? There's no plate voltage on it. Right, let's it's a bit naughty when it's plugged in, but never mind. Let's put the 6F6 in there. Takes a while to warm up, he's old. Oh. He doesn't want to play ball. So what's going on there? It's getting warm. I'll turn the volume down on the guitar. Duh. Tube not quite as muddy. You don't feel like you've got to pull the gain back because of the bass is just a little bit, just a shade farty. That one's awesome. So we'll just try the EL34 in there now. That's a JJ. I'm just checking that camera. I've only got 4% left, so I think we're going to have to stop for a battery change. Right, I've got the EL34 in there, and here's a chance to warm up a bit because I've changed the battery on the camera. And he's a much brittler, much tighter but grungier. Not as much bass as the 5881 and the 6L6. So that's the EL34. Let's bring the gain back down. Come up on the power. Bring the tone stack in. My word, you lose some gain with that. Harsher sounding tuba, I think, that one. So there we go. I'll be at this all day. I'd better stop now because I'll get nothing done. So an array of tubes there, apart from the 6P15P, which the filament's gone on that one, so we didn't get to hear it, but it's much of a muchness. So if we look at the the 9-pin tubes. The 6P18P much brighter than the 4.3, and we didn't really get to listen to that EL84, did we really? But it was a bit dodgy. The 6, for me personally, this 6F6 is the best sounding tube in that amp with the overdrive cranked. Sounds phenomenal. The Russian 6V6 for me was the best clean sound on there. If you want absolutely bags of overdrive, the 5881 seemed to really go for that, didn't it? The 6L6, again, quite a lot of overdrive, but not as good as the 5881. And the EL34, it is a bit grungy for my liking on there. If I had to be honest, I prefer this amp without the tone stack in it. I think it just sounds phenomenal without the tone. I think it sounds phenomenal without the tone stack in there. I mean, it sounds good with the tone stack, but I just prefer this amp without it. And I think this amp without that tone stack in is a real winner. It just sounds awesome. Such a simple thing. This power attenuation on here is just great. And if you're recording, you know, especially if you're recording in a metal band in a studio, this amp is awesome because it's single-ended, the harmonics you're getting on there. And these amps looked on the website and they were between £200 and £249, I would imagine, the options of whether you had the tubes with it or not the tubes. But I mean, that's really cheap. You know, if you can get yourself a cabinet knocked up for this, that's a really cheap amp, and that just sounds awesome. Really impressed with that. It's such a shame that the guy doesn't sell these kits anymore, because he really, got it right with this one. What a tool. So that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.